Hey, Philip.
Hey Jay, how's it going?
Hey, what do you have there?
So in this little box here is the iFi Nano IDSD. It's a DAC, and also a headphone amp. Portable headphone amp.
Portable.
Battery
Really?
powered.
Well, I want to see it. Let's open it up.
All right. By the way, it's the black label one, so that's actually the fancier one.
So they have the non-black version as well?
The black version is the non-black version is quite good, but the black one is especially better. It's got slightly better components in it. It's a little bit better laid out. You open the box, you get the instructions. There's a nice little bag that you can put the unit in. Oh, silica gel. That's always good. This is worth everything.
That's always important.
Always important. And look, see the little fancy headphone amp here.
That's smaller than I imagined.
Smaller than you imagine. So on the front of it is obviously on-off button. There's two headphone jacks. One is a direct input or output designed for relatively inefficient headphones like the ones I use at home, which are Sennheiser HD 600s, which are 300 ohm impedance, relatively inefficient. This will nicely drive it. This is capable of, I think, 500 milliamps or 6 watts of output. And the other one is designed for high efficiency inner ear monitors. So, for instance, I have a pair of Shure 535s that would go quite nicely with this. It won't overdrive those kinds of earbuds or IEMs. And on the other side, there is a socket for a breakout connector for a breakout cable, a 3.5 millimeter stereo to whatever, to RCA or another stereo mini. There's a filter switch here for contouring the response out of the unit. Usually we leave it in what they call listen, which is a slightly less measured way of listening. And then the other one is actually called measure, which is a more kind of linear response, so that when you measure this unit, it actually is quite flat in its output. And of course, there is the USB connector here, which you need a special adapter. I'll show you that right now.
So before we get into that, so which one did you like, the measured or the non-measured one?
Well, obviously, I like the one that is listen, because it seems to be a little bit more musical. It's a little bit more organic sounding to me, less analytical. It seems a little bit more joyful. I didn't really try to listen to the measured one too much because, again, in their instructions, they recommend that you use listen as the first position, and it was very pleasurable. So I really didn't have a reason to go into the other one. I did listen to it for a while. I did not like it as much.
Okay.
But for some people, they might like it. So in the container here, there is this adapter, which is USB-B 2.0 on one end, and then there's another USB bit here, and that connects like that. So this is how this will connect to your computer. You use a USB cable coming out of your computer straight into this. There is an extension here that you can use. There's also another little plug, which is some sort of other adapter. But basically at home I use this with my USB cable. I tried a number of different cables, and one of the ways that I can tell that this unit is very good is that you really can hear all the differences of any cable or any source that you happen to be using with this. So if you're using Tidal, for instance, and you're listening only to Redbook, it sounds like Redbook. And then when you switch to a high resolution format, it sounds high resolution. You can tell that there's an increase in resolution and that there's a certain amount of remastering going on. It's much clearer, it's much more focused, it's much finer, you can hear more details. So depending on the cable you use with this, you can actually increase the performance of this unit quite a bit just from the stock cable. The stock USB cable should be fine, but if you use a better cable, it will be even better.
So it's very rewarding every time you change something on that, eh?
Well, yes, it's very rewarding, and especially in terms of if you want to audition a number of different things and find the ultimate kind of connection, then yes, this machine will tell you exactly how to get to that point. It will tell, you will be able to hear the differences. In terms of the performance of this, it's quite high. It's relatively inexpensive, but it's fully MQA authenticated, which means that it will do all three unfolds if it's present in the music. So when you're listening to Tidal or some other source for MQA files, you can essentially get 24.192 performance out of that file, and the file will be quite small. So, even if you're using your phone just to send something to this, it will be as high a resolution as you can possibly get for a device like this.
And so how would you describe the sound quality? How's the bass?
I would say that overall this is a slightly warm sounding but fairly neutral device. Obviously, with the cable that you use, it's capable of rendering quite a bit of detail. There's nothing bad about this. It's very musical. It doesn't get confused. That's one of the nice things about it. At this price point, especially, and you think about it, this does not get confused. Music is presented with everything in place, and you have a very easy way of delving into the music that you like. This will present everything in all the correct places. When you listen to this, it sounds much more than, this price point.
All right, so it seems like you like it a lot. Let's ask a hard question. What's one thing you don't like about the unit?
The one thing I don't like about the unit, like you were talking about the bass can be a little bit soft, just only very, very slightly. You have to understand that this is a battery-powered unit, and it is powered and recharged from the USB cable, so there's only 5 volts going into this. The amount of charge that the battery can sustain and the amount of drive that the system can make limits some of the bass response, obviously. And I think partially they go with that because if the bass is a little bit hard, it kind of colors everything. So if the bass is a little bit softer, it's a little bit easier. It will suit more categories of music. I mean, not everybody is listening to, EDM or something like that. Some people actually like to hear things that have more of a context in, everyday life. Okay,
so now I know the upper model, the micro version of that, has a bass boost. So if I added a bass boost to that unit, would you say that would be a huge improvement for some people?
Well, having more bass is a preference that is very individual. So I personally would rather have something that's more even and not exaggerated. In most situations, having more bass is actually quite artificial and doesn't sound natural and musical to me. But given that people like to have choice, if it did have a bass switch, it would probably make it a little bit more popular and maybe a bit more, sellable in a sense.
All right, so tell me the price of that baby.
All right, this baby here is $269 retail.
Whoa, that's cheap.
That's very inexpensive. Very, very inexpensive. And you can purchase this at our website, which I guess is flashing underneath the unit right now.
Okay. It's in the description.
Oh, it's in the description. What do I know?
Okay.
So here's another nice feature about this device. So it comes with these rubber bands. And since this is a portable unit, if you had your phone, you hook it up this way with a cable, and now you have one slim package. I was just more confident when it comes to these mechanical.
So that rubber, you just put it on your phone and the iFly. So it kind of looks like a Mojo.
Yeah, kind of, but
much less expensive.
Much less expensive, much more reasonable. And since I have a black iPhone, black matches well with the iPhone. Mm-hmm. Some of the other features of this device is that obviously it will do any number of formats. Basically, whatever you can throw at it, it will do. So if you have, obviously MQA, if you do other high-res formats, this will decode it. And I have this on my MacBook at home all the time now. This is my new go-to DAC for my computer, and I really love it. It's really, really good.